Hi everybody, it's Richard here again and welcome to another video. And this time I'm going to rank the singles by the Electric Light Orchestra, ELO, from 1971 to 1986, whenever they split up. I know Jeff Lynne's come back with Jeff Lynne's ELO, and they did have an album around 2000 or 2001 called Zoom. But the first phase of ELO, which it really is from 71 to 86. I'm also going to include two Jeff Lynne solo singles in this as well, that were released in that time frame. Okay, now there's 35 singles in all, and if I'm being honest, none of them are bad at all, so I do actually quite like them all, but obviously I have to put them in some sort of order. And so number 35, and it's probably the most disappointing single for me anyway, and I know a lot of fans love this, and that is Four Little Diamonds from Secret Messages. I think it's a bit shoddy, and it's a bit of a trying to be a carbon copy of Don't Bring Me Down, and it's not brilliant. It's okay, but it's not fantastic, so I guess my number 35. Number 34, and I'm going to have to show a 12-inch of this because I don't have the 7-inch of it. And this is Getting to the Point, which is the third single from the Balance of Power album. It's a ballad, it's a standard ELO ballad, it's nothing spectacular. I would have thought a better single from that album as the third single would have been Without Someone, but they went with this, and it's okay. What I do like about this 12-inch though is on the B-side there's like an unofficial ELO megamix, which I don't think Jeff was too happy about, but is actually quite fun to listen to. So that gets my number 34. And number 33, and from the Face the Music album, I'm going to go with Night Rider. This was the second single, and they actually did a performance on Top of the Pops for this, but it still didn't manage to chart. It's okay, but it's a bit uninspired, let's put it that way, and I don't think it should have been a single, so that's my number 33. Number 32, and it's Jeff Lynne's first solo single, and this is from 1977, and this is Doing That Crazy Thing, and this is like a disco-y funk type number. I think it's actually quite good, I really do enjoy it. It wouldn't fit well on any of the ELO albums, although there is obviously a hint of ELO in it. But I think it is quite good, and this gets my number 32. Now number 31, a lot of people think this is too low, but it is a cover version, and it's the best cover version of this song. It's actually the best version of this song, and that is Roll Over Beethoven from 1973, I think. Yeah, and no, this is the best version of a song that I was never that keen on anyway. I like the way that, you know, they start off with the actually piece from Beethoven, and then the middle section, whenever the instruments all come in, the orchestra comes in. I think it's very good, but it's just an ordinary rock and roll song, which is sort of dressed up a bit. So for me, that's number 31. Number 30, I would normally have had this last, but I've been playing all these singles again just to familiarize myself with them, and how I did this was I put my list down at the very start before listening to them all again, and boy did I have to change that list. It got chopped and changed. So number 30, and much better than I remember, is Secret Messages, and this is the second single from the Secret Messages album in 1983. Yeah, this is good. The B-side I always preferred, which is Buildings Have Eyes, which I probably still do prefer, and should have been on the album, but yeah, it's a good single, and that's my number 30. Number 29, and I'm going to go with the first ELO single from Xanadu, and that's I'm Alive. Yeah, it's okay. I used to like this a lot more. I used to have this higher. In fact, I had this higher when I first did this list, but it has fallen down a bit, and it's not as good as I remember. So I'm Alive is number 29. And number 28 from the soundtrack to Electric Dreams, and this is Jeff's solo song Video, which is really good, and this would have sat well on Secret Messages. This is a good song. Funny enough, he does another song on that album called Let It Run, which is a blinder, which really would have been fantastic on Secret Messages. But anyway, number 28 video. Number 27, and from Face the Music again, we have Strange Magic. Yeah, it's a nice song. It's a bit boring at times. Sometimes I'm in the mood for it, sometimes I'm not. But yeah, I do appreciate it. It's half decent. So Strange Magic gets number 27. And number 26 from the On the Third Day album, and we have Ma Belle. Yeah, it's a good hard rocker. I remember Jasper Carrott used to use this as his intro to one of his shows in the 80s. Now, this is where I first heard it, was from Jasper Carrott. I thought it was very, very good, but it's still not as good as the rest. So 26 is Ma Belle. Number 25, and I'm going to go with the single from El Dorado, and that's Can't Get It Out of My Head. Yeah, it's a good song. Again, it's a slow one, but this was a big hit for them in America. This did nothing in the UK, although around 78 or so they released a 4-track EP with 4 of their singles, and this was the lead off again, and it scraped the top 40. But yeah, it's a good song, and I believe he plays this live quite a bit now still. So that's Can't Get Out of My Head is number 25. Number 24, and a little bit of surprise, and I'm going to give it to Don't Bring Me Down. Yeah, it's a rocker, it's a thumper. It actually sticks out a little bit like a sore thumb on the Discovery album. Yeah, I would have thought this would be better on the Time album. Discovery's quite a disco-y type album, and this one is just an ordinary rocker. I think it's just standard. It's good, but it's not as good as people let it out to be. And I think this was their biggest hit in the States. So number 24, Don't Bring Me Down. Number 23, and it took me a while to actually get to like this, and it's their debut, and it's 10538 Overture. This is good. It's not catchy at all. It's actually very, very weird, and the guitar intro is brilliant. It's that good that Paul Weller absolutely stole it note for note for the start of his Changing Man single in the mid-90s from the Stanley Road album. Yeah, it is good. It was a top 10 hit, I believe, for them, but it still doesn't make my top 20, so that's number 23, 10538 Overture from their debut album. Number 22, and this was lower down on my original list, and it's All Over the World from the Xanadu album, the soundtrack. Yeah, there's a video on YouTube of people dancing to this, and I really, really enjoyed it, and that's probably why this shot up the list a bit for me. I still don't think it's one of their best, but I really do think it's quite good. So All Over the World is 22. And number 21, and it's their only number 1 hit single, and I know, but I can't help it, I do like it, and that's Xanadu with Olivia Newton-John. I think it's very, very catchy. In fact, all the songs now are really, really good. I think it's extremely catchy, deserved to get to number 1. I've heard Jeff's solo version, or the ELO version, which really is Jeff anyway, and it's not a patch in this. It's very bland. This is full of energy, and this gets my number 21. Number 20, and the second single from Time, and that is Twilight, and this is a good single. It works better whenever you have the prologue before it on the album. The two of them really, you can't have one without the other, but I really do enjoy this. Maybe, I'm not too sure whether it should have been the single, but it's still a really, really good song, and it's got an extremely catchy and excellent B-side called Julie Don't Live Here, which never featured on any album. Okay, number 19, and maybe a surprise, and that's Living Thing from A New World Record. I like it. Something about the production of this, I think it's quite thin. I just don't think it's beefed up that much. I think it's just a little bit too thin for me. I've heard the Beautiful South do their version of it. I'm not too keen on it either. I like it, I really do like it, but there's just something about it that I can't explain. I don't know, but still a decent enough song. Gets to number 19. Number 18, and the first single from Face the Music is Evil Woman. Good song, good standard song, good groove to it. 1975, it sounds like mid-70s music, but it's still excellent, and he plays this all the time. I do enjoy it, so that's Evil Woman, number 18. Number 17 and the third single from Time, and that's the double A side of Take It to the Moon and Here Is the News. I don't know which one's my favourite. It was always Here Is the News, but I'm not so sure now. I do actually love the both of them. So two excellent songs, and Here Is the News is a great video as well. So this gets my number 17. Number 16, which I absolutely loved at the time, but it's fallen a little bit. And it's the first single from Secret Messages, and that is Rock and Roll is King. It's a standard rock and roller, but I think it's really infectious. It really is good. So that gets my number 16. And number 15 is the opener to Out of the Blue, which is Turn to Stone. I always felt that this shouldn't have opened the album for some reason. I always thought this should have been the second track, and something like Across the Border opening the album, but I'm getting off topic again. But yeah, I do really like this, but I still think it's the weakest of the four Out of the Blue singles, although it's still really, really good. And this basically was the start of ELO mania, really, because they were very, very successful in the latter part of the 1970s. So Turn to Stone, I think it just failed to make the top 10, but I remember this in the charts, loving it then as well. So great song. Number 14, and this is another rock and roll number, and this is Rockaria. Now, I've heard a lot of people call this Rockaria, and I don't know, is it Rockaria? I've always known it as Rockaria. We had the single, we bought the single at the time, and we called it Rockaria. So yeah, I just think this is it's a very, very clever rock and roll song when they bring in all these composers, and it's nice to hear the operatic female voice as well at the start. So Rockaria gets number 14. And number 13, from Out of the Blue, we'll go for Wild West Hero again. It's a ballady type song with a great guitar hook. It is so catchy, sing-alongable. Remember it in the charts, loved it then, love it now. Number 13. Number 12, this was actually quite low, higher up for me, and then it's dropped a bit, and that's the first single from Discovery, and that's Shine a Little Love, and this is disco-y, but it's great disco-y, it really is. I think it's fantastic. Yeah, again, this is one that would make you dance. So Shine a Little Love gets my number 12. And number 11, the second single from Balance of Power, and that is So Serious. And now we're getting into the sort of Wilbury type sound of ELO, rather than the orchestra type sound. I think this is catchy as hell, and again, it's a sing-alongable song. It didn't do well in the charts. I don't even think it failed to make. I don't even think it actually managed to make the top 75. But yeah, So Serious, second single from Balance of Power, is number 11. Okay, going into the top 10, and my number 10 is the last single from Xanadu soundtrack, and this is Don't Walk Away. This is a big ballad, but this is a really good ballad, and the keyboards in this are absolutely fantastic. Love it, absolutely love it. Loved it then, love it now, and it gets my number 10. And number 9 is the one that John Lennon liked from 1973, and that's Showdown. And this didn't feature on the UK version of On the Third Day, but it did the US version. It's just a really, really good single. It's one of the best, and I believe they play this live a lot now as well. So that's number 9. Number 8, and probably maybe the best of the straight ahead rock and roll numbers, and it's the first single from Time, and this is Hold On Tight. And you know, I love it. It's great. 1981. I didn't buy it at the time, but my friend did, and you know, those days used to sort of share records. Yeah, great, fantastic song. So Hold On Tight is number 8. And number 7, and the weird one, and it's The Diary of Horace Wimp from Discovery. Yeah, it just tells the story of a guy who meets a girl, and his life has changed, and he decides, no, it's crap now, so normal life. Yeah, I do like it. It is. I don't think it's a perfect single, but it's a really, really good song, and that's why it gets number 7. Number 6, and the first surprise so high up, but again, this is infectious, and this is Calling America from Balance of Power, their most underrated album from '86. Funny enough, '86, a lot of underrated albums then, Press to Play included. Yeah, this is great single, a longable song. It did get the top 30 just, but by this time ELO were just old hat, so nobody was interested, and it's a pity because it's a fantastic song. Okay, into the top 5. Number 5 is the double A side of Confusion and Last Train to London. I've always said Confusion's the better song. I'm not so sure now. I love both of them. Last Train to London, like Shine a Little Love, is a disco classic, and Confusion is an ELO classic. So two brilliant songs from a good album. Funny enough, the album itself is full of good singles and the rest of it is a bit ropey, but yeah, Confusion, Last Train to London, number 5. And number 4, the first ELO single I ever bought, and it's from a New World record, and that's Telephone Line. This is like a ballady, a ballady song, but a bit of a throwback to the 50s with a doo-wop, doobie-doobie-wop bit, and I just loved it then, and I do love it now. I did get fed up with this one, and this was actually lower down my list, but whenever I played it in the car before this COVID-19 came into effect, I got to really appreciate this again, and this jumps up to number 4. Now the top 3, and number 3 is probably the biggest surprise of all, but I think this is one of his best ever songs, and it's the 4th single from Time, and it's The Way Life's Meant to Be, and not many people have heard this. It failed to make the top 75, but it is such a catchy song. It's acoustic. There's lots of ooh la las in it, and whenever I hear that, that just wins me over. I've played this so many times over the past week. I've been playing it on YouTube. There's a very good custom made video for it on YouTube as well. So yeah, I absolutely adore it, and that's my number 3, The Way Life's Meant to Be. And number 2, again, I thought this was fantastic at the time, and I still think it's fantastic, and that's Sweet Talking Woman. I think this is the 3rd single or the 4th single from Out of the Blue. Yeah, it's a perfect pop song, really. It's a perfect pop song. There's a little by of a disco-y dance element to it, but very, very little. It's just pure pop, and Sweet Talking Woman is my number 2. And no surprise for number 1, and this is one of the best. I would put this in the top 20 best singles of all time, and that's Mr. Blue Sky, and it is just immense. The structure of the song goes all over the place, and just when you think it's ending, the drums kick in again, and the bass, and it's magnificent. And even at the end of the song it goes, Please Turn Me Over, because it was actually the last song on side 3, and I believe Jeff Lynne thought, oh my god, you're getting through 3 sides of ELO, you'll definitely give up. That's why they said Please Turn Me Over, so that you could start off again with Sweet Sweet as the Night on side 4. But this is a magnificent song, and as I say, it's one of the top 20 singles of all time. Okay, so that's me ranking the Electric Light Orchestra singles from 1971 to 86. I do like the stuff after that. I like Jeff Lynne's solo album, Armchair Theatre. The single from that, the first single, was called Every Little Thing, which I think is magnificent. I didn't include it, and if I had, it would have definitely been in the top 20. I also do like the Zoom album and the 2 Jeff Lynne ELO albums, especially the singles that came from that, When I Was a Boy, and what do you call it, The Best Time of Our Lives, or something like that there. Fantastic, and I've been playing a lot of ELO lately. That's what's really inspired me to do this video. Okay, that's me for now. I hope to have another video quite soon. Stay safe everybody, all the best, bye bye.